the ability to forgive, to give up, not to give up or surrender or in that way. I'm talking about to give up your right to make yourself wrong, to make others wrong, to dominate and avoid domination, to criticize, complain, feel guilty about, or make others feel guilty about whatever's happened in the past. If you can forgive, the word for means in advance, like before. Forgive means to give up in advance. All of those things that you've been making people wrong about, all of those things that you've been making yourself wrong, which is another way of saying feeling guilty, right? When you feel guilty, you make yourself wrong. You look at yourself and you go, there's something wrong with you. Guilt is pretty useless unless you can feel it for a couple of seconds and experience it as a signal from your subconscious mind that something's off here and that you need to correct your path. Indulging in guilt, staying in guilt, believing that you are guilty and relating to yourself like you are guilty or others is about the most useless waste of life that I can imagine. The feeling of guilt is a signal from your subconscious mind that you have stepped over your own values. You did something that you think is wrong. Whether it's right or wrong or good or bad is a whole nother debate. It's a whole nother conversation. You feel ashamed of yourself for having done this thing that you believe is wrong. Hear me out. How long do you want to feel that way before you do something about it? Staying that way for more than 5 minutes is ridiculous. It's just a signal saying, hey, it's like a car alarm on your car. Hey, somebody tried to break into your car, so it makes a loud, uncomfortable sound, partially to scare them away, but also to call your attention to this. So you have an alarm that goes off. I feel guilty. It's time to stop and go, what did I do that stepped over my own boundaries that I certainly wouldn't want anyone to do that to me or say those things about me. In other words, you've crossed your own value. Nobody else's, even if it is somebody else's. Listen, if you cross somebody else's values but you don't value those values, you don't feel guilty. If you've hurt somebody because you passed over their values, then you might feel bad about that. It's happened that sometimes I'm just going about my business, honoring my own values, and somebody else gets their feelings hurt about it. I don't know. I don't have a lot of time to waste feeling guilty about that. What I do have time for is to find out what do I need to do to fix the mess I made. In other words, is there anything I can do to have that person feel better about it, even though their feelings are their responsibility, not mine? I need to pay attention to the things I say and do, bearing in mind that sometimes people might get their feelings hurt and there's nothing you can do about that. Simply do something about it. Apologize if that's appropriate. Clean up whatever mess you've made. In other words, I'm sorry I did this. What can I do to make it whole for you? What do you need from me in order for this to be complete for you and enable you to put it in the past? Do you need to say something to me? Do you need to yell at me? Do you just need to let me know how bad it hurt you? What is it going to take to have this be okay with you, with your attention being on the other person, being complete and whole? And lastly, what makes this complete is to really look at yourself and decide for yourself. That's never going to happen again. Not like, oh, well, I'll try to not ever do that again, and if I do, I will apologize. No. That's almost a guarantee that it'll happen again. You have to make an irrevocable choice. I'm never going to change my mind about this choice, that I'm not going to be that way. I'm not going to do that way again. Now, is that a guarantee? No. If you want a guarantee, buy a toaster. Human beings are fallible. You are fallible. Promising someone that, hey, I'm never going to do that again. You can count on me, and leave it at that. Not, and if I do, I'll probably come back and apologize again. No, do not use the word if. When you're doing a cleanup, what I call a 3-step cleanup, where it's, I'm sorry, what can I do to make it right? Promise I'll never do it again. There's 3 things. Most people do not live their life like their word is irrevocable. Like once you've said it, full intention that you do not go back on that, period. You'd be surprised how that attitude alone will change your life.